Hey y'all, this is my week 3 update since I started Mounjaro. Where's that? 2.5. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in. Everything that I ate during week 3 will be posted at the end of this, but days Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are in a separate video. If you want to see that, check out our weekend trip to Tennessee, because I kind of did like a whole travel with me vlog and just included all my food in that. So instead of putting it on here twice, just go check that out if that's of any interest to you. Okay, so I already took my injection for today, my 4th injection, and I've rotated injection sites, which Eli Lilly suggests that you do. It's the makers of Mounjaro. There is the chart they recommend you do. Now on the stomach, I didn't notice this until I'm gonna say week 2 maybe, but on the stomach you can rotate around your belly button. It's the same site but not, I guess. So I could have injected like on the right side of my belly button 1 week, and then the left side of my belly button the next week, from what I put together from that picture. Okay, so quick just backstory. I have more on my backstory in other videos, more detailed, more information than what I'm going to give you here. So I had BSG, weight loss surgery, in June of 2020. I lost 80 pounds, which I have done on my own before prior to weight loss surgery, but in my mind, I thought I've done everything to try to get my body below a certain point, and nothing that I've done has helped me achieve that. So I thought weight loss surgery would be the thing that helped me get under 180, give or take 5 pounds up or down. It just seems to be where my body's most comfortable. It's frustrating for me, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing all these things that I'm trying to do, that I'm doing to try to get below that and to my ideal goal weight, okay? And I say that because mine's different than what the doctor's charts will tell me for my age and height and activity level and all that. I think theirs has me 115 to 140, 145. I have weighed that, and I've often said that I know my body can go below what it's going below at this stage of my life, and the previous stage of my life, which when I lost the weight before, I was perimenopausal already. At that time, I didn't really realize just how big of a role that hormones can play on your weight. But given that I know that now, I'm giving myself a little more grace these days, but still not just like throwing up my hands and being like, you know, it's whatever, live life, eat cake type thing. And nothing wrong with eating cake, by the way. I'm just saying that type of thing. Like, I know nobody don't say this anymore, but YOLO. No, I'm not doing all that over here. I'm still trying. My highest weight prior to surgery, I'm thinking, was 250 256, 257. I was definitely pushing 260. I'll talk about that in my weight loss videos, so you can go check that out if that's of interest to you too. So that was June 2020. Then the following year, October, I had a tummy tuck. Was not at my goal weight. Discussed that with the plastic surgeon. Told her that I was within 30 pounds. And she said that she felt that it was fine to go ahead with the tummy tuck because 30 pounds wasn't necessarily going to completely destroy the tummy tuck. But I explained to her that I wanted the apron gone, the skin, everything that was just kind of hanging there on my body, just kind of hanging out. I wanted it gone because I felt like it would motivate me to keep pushing towards my goal weight. And it was hard for me to exercise. And it was just uncomfortable. I was getting rashes underneath that apron belly and just itchy all the time. I know that's probably TMI, but hey, I'm talking about my backstory and that's part of it. So after the tummy tuck, I actually gained 20 pounds. When I seen that scale hit 199.9, I was like, oh, hell no. Nope. I'm not going past this without trying to, do something. So I went and seen my doctor, and I was like, look, I want to try this shot called saxenda. She hadn't heard of it, so she kind of was like, let's put this on hold for at least a week. Give me some time to research it. I know about the other shots, but not really so much about this one. So she told me to give her a call back in a week. Done that. She said she researched it, but since that I am a type 2 diabetic, she could give me a different shot. But I was already on metformin, and I didn't want to take anything else for the diabetes, which she said was fine for me to do because they worked differently. But the saxenda shot was what I had heard about most, what the people that I was watching on YouTube, and still do, talked about. So it was the only one I knew anything about. So I felt more comfortable with that. Saxenda is a daily injection, and this one is tirzepatide, however you say that. There. And the saxenda, I think, is semaglutide. I could be wrong on that. If I am, I'll correct myself on the screen here. Okay, so took saxenda, started that in November 22. November 2022. So the saxenda helped me get off the 20-pound regain that I had after weight loss surgery and tummy tuck. So did that. Fast forward to, like, I don't know, 5 weeks ago maybe, my insurance decided that they no longer wanted to pay for the saxenda, and I was having trouble getting them due to the shortages anyway. And so I was just kind of all, willy-nilly with the last prescription that I had, which I got in 2 separate trips to the pharmacy because of the shortage. But you'll also find information on that on my first Mounjaro video. So she said, my doctor, well, you are type 2 diabetic, so let's put this Mounjaro through. I said, okay, but what about me, being on the metformin, and with this shot, I don't want to, like, bottom out and, like, stay there, somebody pick me up off the floor type thing, because used to my sugar would stay really low. My baseline was low, and when it would jump up to normal, I felt like it was like somebody else would feel like if theirs went like sky high, like over 200. And then it would bottom out, like It would spike really high and then drop really low really quick. There's a name for that, and it's not coming to me right now, but it's a thing. So she first, before we started the Mounjaro, she suggested that I pull back to 1 a day on the metformin, just to see how I was going to feel with that before I started the shot. But she went ahead and put the prescription through. But she knows how I am about medication. I'm really funny. Like I won't start 2 medications at the same time because my body's so sensitive to most medicines. If I have a reaction to one, I want to know which one it was. So anytime I'm going to take more than one new medication, I just start one at a time and give it like a week at least. So I dropped down to metformin once a day for a week before I started the 2.5 Mounjaro. Felt fine. So I had already had my 2.5 prescription on hand, which put me a week ahead on my refill date, which is good due to the shortages, and that way if my pharmacy has trouble getting it, it gives me a week to hunt it down somewhere else. So that is why I just took my last, no, that is not why. One of the reasons that I could take my last Mounjaro shot and still have a week left is that. But now that I have this, and I've had, oops, wait a minute. Let's redo that because I just showed y'all information you did not need here on the internet. But a week ahead on this, and I've had this for a week, so that gives me a 2-week jump on any shortages that I might face trying to get this 5 milligram. So I will start the 5 milligram next week, and that will be my 5th week on Mounjaro, starting 5 milligrams. So that'll be easy to remember, 5 and 5. Side effects on the 2.5, not being bad for me. Slight headache a few times. Nothing that really, except for one day during the last 3 weeks, I did have to lay down quite early for bed because of the headache. But other than that, it's been nothing that had like a huge effect on my day. I've been tired, but again, nothing that like stopped me in my tracks and made me like feel like I needed to lay down and take a nap. How it did, I said that wrong, how the saxenda did me when I started it. Probably about the first 2 weeks of saxenda, I was extremely tired. Again, the saxenda is a daily injection. So the first 2 weeks on that medication, I stayed really tired and nauseous. Not so much with this, but I was coming from the highest dose of saxenda, which is 3 milligrams, to 2.5 of the Mounjaro. Now, I know they're different medications and all that, but I felt like even prior to starting this that I was probably going to have more hunger. The cravings may creep back up and all of that because I was jumping to a lower dose, even though it was a different medication. I kind of expected that to happen, and it did. Now, on the videos where I show you what I eat in a day, and I say I'm feeling hungrier than usual, I mean my usual. As a weight loss surgery patient and someone who took saxenda on and off due to shortages for about a year. So that's what I mean when I say, you know, I'm feeling more hunger. I'm comparing it to that. Not your average person's daily hunger. Mine's always going to look less than that. Well, maybe not always, because the further you get out from weight loss surgery, the more you're able to eat and the more variety of foods you can eat without getting sick. My appetite had increased enough after weight loss surgery to gain 20 pounds. So there's that. That happened. But anyway, not really seen a lot of appetite suppression with the 2.5 because of all that I just rattled on. I do think it helped me with the sugar cravings that I've been having since being full-blown menopause. Y'all, this menopause shit will F you up. So I'm trying to stay on top of that. I seen really quick just how fast that can hit some people. I was like, I would have a hot flash periodically here and there over the past several years. Again, I was perimenopausal in my early 30s. I'm now 47. But it was just like 1 week, like the gates opened up. Most people say the floodgates, but I compare it to the gates of hell or some shit. Look, it was like I was having 20 to 25 hot flashes a day, getting up in the middle of the night and having to change my pajamas because I was sweating so bad. And instead of waking my husband up to change the sheets, I would just lay like a throw blanket down, because I didn't want to lay back on the wet sheets, which, because I had to put a throw blanket down, it was, even though I was laying on it, it was just thicker than the sheets, not as cool. I was still like, it was making me burn up even more, and it was just a whole thing, okay? I went on hormones for that. The side effects was just not outweighing, the bad side effects from that medication was not outweighing all the bad stuff that I was experiencing with that hormone replacement. But all that stuff has improved. I don't know if it has anything to do with the Mounjaro or not. I'm going to research that. But it's awful funny that for the past 3 weeks or so, I've not had as many hot flashes. I'm sleeping better. And again, I mean, this is making me tired. So, I don't know. I'm gonna keep an eye on that and report back. But I feel that my weight loss has not been what you're going to see most people's weight loss be within those first few weeks, because I was already on the saxenda. And I have already lost a large amount of weight. So your body's not going to like keep losing weight like that your whole journey. It's going to slow down. Even if you use change your tools up, it's your body. It's just going to, hold on. Sorry about that. Your body's just going to slow down no matter what it is. You can switch up the tools. It's your body's reaction to massive weight loss. Is 80 pounds massive? Maybe not to some, but it is to me. But anyway, I didn't expect my weight loss to be like those that I watch on YouTube. Like, oh, I lost 11, 15, 1,200 pounds. You know what I mean? I know that's exaggeration, but I knew that wasn't going to be my story. And so, because I know all that, and because I kept that in mind, and I'm at a place that, sorry y'all, somebody keeps calling, and I don't recognize the number, but we don't answer those numbers. If you're not in my contacts, then no. But caused me to lose my train of thought. Hold on. Okay. because I've already lost a lot of weight, and because I'm able to get on the scale and not let it F my day up, I weigh daily. Kind of got into the habit of that. I've mentioned this in several other videos when my doctor had me keeping a food journal and weighing daily so that we could pinpoint certain foods that was causing some extra inflammation and water retention in me. Look, I feel bloated and puffy today. The first day that I have felt this way since starting the Mounjaro. And I did notice that the saxenda helped with that too. I put this ring on today. Oh, there you can see it's left a mark. I usually wear this ring on this finger, and it's like, nope, I can feel it like cutting the circulation off. We can't be cutting the circulation off. So, but it's a little snug on this finger. My wedding set, which is not my original one. Unfortunately, that one was stolen. It's leaving an indentation on my finger, which usually don't happen. Since losing, that 20 pounds, this had actually gotten a little loose on me. But she ain't going nowhere today. I noticed this morning when I got on the scale and I looked down that my feet looked a little puffy. I make sure to get in at least 80 ounces of water a day. And I've really stayed on top of that since weight loss surgery. Towards the end of the year of 2020, after weight loss surgery, I should say. Because at first it's, you ain't getting 80 ounces of nothing in, okay? But there's been very few days since the end of 2020 that I've not hit my goal of 80 ounces of water. I've been having trouble doing that and eating food, just like the early days after VSG. And that's not, I know it sounds like I'm contradicting myself because I said I didn't really see much appetite suppression with this as of yet. I lost my train of thought again. Damn it. But I do notice that I get full quicker, which is what this is supposed to do. But I'm hungry quicker also. So hopefully when I go up to the 5 milligrams, that will work itself out. But given that I expect to have more appetite suppression, I'm also expecting, not that I'm trying to speak this on myself, but I'm just trying to prepare myself for what could potentially happen. With greater appetite suppression, usually comes with greater side effects. So hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully I won't be so tired that I can't function. But with a lot of people, what I hear them saying is that they're experiencing their side effects the first few days after their shot, or the day of and the first few days after. It's the exact opposite for me with the 2.5. I don't feel anything until like day 4, I think it was. And then I felt some slight differences in my appetite suppression. So I don't know. It's just weird that it's always the case with me. Whatever anybody else is experiencing, or the majority, just I'm over here like, nope. Me and 5 other people out of 1,000. You know, I'm one of the 5. So I take my shot on Thursdays. That is today. Hopefully you're seeing this video today. So by usually Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, is when I can tell that maybe a little towards Sunday evening. I'm not like wanting anything like snacky when me and my husband sit down to watch a movie or whatever on Sunday evenings. So I would say Sunday evening, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's my daughter now. I have to call her back. So yeah, it's towards the end of the week for me. This is distracting me, all these calls. So let me just hurry up and tell y'all what my ass weighed in as today. Sorry for the cursing. I try to watch my mouth when I get on here, and I usually do a fairly good job at it, but sometimes it just comes out of there. So, 4 weeks ago today, the morning that I took my first Mounjaro shot, again, me acting like I can see this notebook without some reading glasses. I weighed 177. Last week I weighed 176.6. Today I weighed 177.2. So I'm up 2 ounces from my starting weight, and I'm up 6 ounces from last week. And it's not like got me messed up over here because of everything I just said. I didn't expect my first month on the 2.5, excuse me, to be magical. And I feel like because I kept everything in mind, that I had already been on saxenda, I've already lost a large amount of weight, I am full-blown menopause. Those 3 things are why I'm able to look at this paper and say, it's fine. It's okay. This is a starting dose, which is to just get your body used to the medication so that when you jump up to the larger doses, the hope is that the side effects won't be as hard on you. So that's my hope. And right now, that's all I have to hold on to is that hope that I'm going to see more weight loss. And also, let's make that 4 things. I have incorporated weight training back into my rotation. Now, have I gained almost a pound of muscle in 3 weeks' time? No. But what happens is your body will have a temporary inflammatory response to strength training or any new exercise. It's normal. Some people will get a swoosh like that. And again, me and these other 4 people over here on this side. So I just know my body at this point in my life. It took me this long. It took me 47 years to know these things about my body, or to accept these things, I should say. So I'm fine. Again, if you are a person that you let the scale F your day up, don't get on that thing every day. If you want to keep track of your weight loss, weigh in once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever your spirit is telling you to do, you do that. The weight loss, or the scale, to me is just one tool. I can look in the mirror and see that I'm not as bloated, not as puffy. Except for today, I'm having this issue, which made me look at my water intake for the last 2 days, and it's not been where it should be. So, because I got on the scale and I see that and this, so I would have been able to tell without getting on the scale. But what's wrong with having more than one tool in your tool belt? Nothing. So, that made me look at my water intake, and so today I can really work on getting more water in. And now I'm going to show you everything that I ate this week, with the exception of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's in a different video. And the reason why you don't see my feet actually on the scale, I've started putting that on here, is because I weigh in the nude and my scale is black glass, so there's a reflection. You can figure out the rest. We ain't doing that over here. So that's why I step on it, step off, then pick up my phone and show you. So before anybody says, oh, she had to do that because that phone weighs an ounce type thing. No. There's just some things that we're not sharing on the intranet over here, okay? And that's one of the things. So you're welcome. Okay, so now we're going to close out this video with everything that I ate this week. I hope everybody's well. Thank you for watching. If you are having kind of the same experience with Mounjaro, or if you're farther in your journey and you had this experience, please let me know down below. Me and you 4 other people, we can be friends on here and share our journey, because I'm definitely not in the majority of those people who are seeing massive like drops in the beginning, and I didn't expect to be. So okay, now for what I ate this week. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate if you do that, and then click that bell, then hit all, so that you don't miss any of my updates. I said I wasn't going to get on here and be windy today, but here I did it again. I'll work on that. I've got a lot of things that I need to work on, but who doesn't? And so yeah, next week we will be starting on 0.5. I had debated on going ahead and starting the 5, not 0.5. Well, yeah, it is 0.5 ml. That's the whole pen. But anyway, I debated on going ahead and starting that because I have it. And then I thought, no, I'm not. That would be me wasting a whole 2.5 pen. And this ish is expensive. And so I'm not going to do that. It's not that expensive for me because of my insurance. Thank God I'm blessed with that. But what the hell I look like just saying this is whatever, when there's people on here who are having to pay $1,200 for their script. And I was like, that's just, that wouldn't be cool of me to waste this. So done this in my right thigh today. And I will update you guys next week. And probably show myself giving my first 0.5 injection in that video. Alright. See you soon.